In this heartwarming moment, a man gently caresses the head of a wise old elephant, evoking a deep emotional connection between human and animal that moves him to tears. For over 20 years, Solomon has remained the steadfast and sole companion of this magnificent creature. However, the moment has arrived when he must bid her farewell, embracing the inevitable separation. Shirley was just a youngster when she arrived in the United States from her native Sumatra, more than 60 years ago, and like many Asian elephants of that era, she was drafted into a career as a circus animal. In the photographs taken in the 1950s, Shirley can be seen parading with other elephants, a gilded headdress perched upon her head. It was perhaps not a dignified lifestyle, but at least she had the company of her own kind. In fact, for 24 years, Shirley performed with a Carson and Barnes circus battling through tough conditions. In 1958, for example, she was held captive in Cuba, along with the rest of her circus when Fidel Castro seized power. Then in 1963, she was rescued from a burning circus ship in Yarmouth, Nova Scotia, but was rescued unharmed. Later, still at the age of 28, Shirley was involved in a violent altercation with another elephant. Shirley's back right leg was broken in the collision, and it wasn't properly set, leaving her in discomfort and pain. Separately, she lost a large chunk of her right ear in a fire, which also caused scarring along her back flanks and feet. Despite her injuries, though, Shirley was made to perform with the circus for 2 more years. Finally, with no more use for a lame elephant, they sold her to the Louisiana Purchase Gardens and Zoo in Monroe, Louisiana. At the zoo, Shirley finally found peace and a loving companion who cared for her. Keeper Solomon James tended to her needs from the moment she arrived at the zoo, and he would continue to do so for the next 22 years. However, there was one problem: the zoo was only a small facility, and housing the nearly 9-foot-tall Shirley meant that there was no room for another elephant to keep her company. Although there were now some 300 Asian elephants living in North America, Shirley was one of the last to live alone. Still, to make up for it, Solomon did his best to cheer the animal spirits. "I'll give her a little hay," he said in Argo Films documentary. "The urban elephant, maybe I'll give her some branches or something to play with, and I just stay in the yard with her a little bit, and that gives her some company. Sort of flight to make her think she's not alone, that at least I'm here to be with her." But Solomon's love could only go so far. As more than 2 decades passed without Shirley seeing another elephant, something had to change. In 1999, when Shirley was 51 years old, staff at the zoo decided they could no longer offer her the best quality of life. Arrangements were made to move her to the elephant sanctuary 2 states away in Hole, Tennessee. When the day came for Shirley to make her big move, she was reluctant to step into the truck. The zoo staff had to use a winch while Solomon tried to gently coax her into the vehicle. Yet, eventually, they persuaded Shirley on board and began the long journey through the night to Tennessee. 14 hours later, Shirley finally arrived at her new home. As Shirley began to settle into the barn at the sanctuary, she laid eyes on Tara, the first elephant she had seen in more than 20 years. In a tender moment, the 2 touched trunks, and Solomon knew that his old friend was going to be just fine. Even so, the scene was emotional as he gave Shirley one last bath. It was, after all, a ritual they had shared many times over the years, and this final moment brought tears to the zookeeper's eyes. "I don't know who was the first to put a chain on her," he confessed, "but I'm glad to know that I was the last to take it off. She's free at last." There was, however, one last surprise in store as Jenny, the last elephant in the herd, to return to the barn. Amidst a tumultuous uproar, the echoes of trumpeting filled the night, and as the morning sun bathed the barn, the staff discovered an astonishing sight. Shirley and Jenny, driven by an overwhelming longing to be together, had displayed such raw determination that they had twisted and bent the unyielding steel bars that held them apart. Almost a quarter of a century had passed since Shirley and Jenny had been separated during their circus days. Now, in a long-awaited reunion, their bond was unbreakable. They remained inseparable, their trunks intertwined, as Shirley embarked on her exploration of their new abode. As the saying goes, elephants never forget. We hope you appreciate this heartfelt moment captured in the video. Kindly share and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to click the notification icon to stay updated with our latest content. Thank you for your support.